Now, once the company is ready with its chart of accounts, we have now ari na to sa next step, which is journalizing. So, the journal is a chronological record of the entity's transactions. Thus, it is called the Book of Original Entry. So, a journal entry shows all the effects of a business transaction in terms of debits and credits. Each transaction is initially recorded in a journal rather than directly to the ledger. So, the general journal is the simplest journal. Now, in accounting, remember we are using the double entry system of bookkeeping. So, mo nang natay debit o credit. So, again ha, ang imong general journal is called the Book of Original Entries. Now, sa pag-create nimo og journal, let's do this. Okay, so kanina kay chart of accounts. Now, sa pag-create nimo og journal, remember, dapat So, sa pag-create nimo og journal, there are two types of entries, either simple or compounded entry. In a simple entry, only two accounts are affected. One account is debited and the other account is credited. So, moonay simple entry. One account debited, one account credited. However, there are some transactions that require the use of more than two accounts. So, when three or more accounts are required in a journal entry, the entry is referred to as a compound entry. Now, unsay format ani imong general journal? So, as you can see here, diba, nakay column para sa imong date. So, kani, muna sa imong date. So, we have the year, the month, and the specific day. Next, you have a column. You have a column for your particulars, wherein your account title and the explanation. So, the first line of entry, so kani, ito nang i-color. The first line of entry shows the account debited. So, kani siya. Ito nang i-highlight ha. So, ang first line nimo is for your debit. Kung unsa nga account ang imuhang gi-debit. Now, the second line is for your credit. But remember, kung mag-credit ka is dapat naka-indent siya. Again, kung mag-credit ka, dapat naka-indent. So, imuhang debit is ari mag-start, imuhang credit is naka-indent. Now, a third line, or for each journal entry, sa third line is dapat anha ka magbutang sa imuhang explanation. So, unsa ni siya ang unsay brief explanation on what happened or unsay nature sa transaction. So, mao ni imuhang general format sa imuhang journal. So, again na, naka-indent na siya. Kada debit, then credit, naka-indent, then ang explanation is naka-indent lang gihapon. Now, we have here the posting reference, or another term ana is the folio. So, the folio or posting reference is filled up only when the entry is transferred to the next book of accounts, which is the ledger. So, ang kani, diba, first step is journalizing. The next step is the, what do you call that? The posting to the general ledger. So, kung ma-post na nimo siya, ana niya na nimo ibutang kung asa siya nga page number baron or unsa ang reference number nga imuhang gibutang. So, another term ani is the reference or the folio. Folio ang other term ani. And then next, we have here the amount, the column for the debit amount. So, ang kaning debit, ang kani dire, of course, ari po na nimo ibutang ang iyahang ato na ibutang. So, ari na nimo ibutang ang sa debit and then ang credit nimo is ari nga side. So, ana na siya. Debit amount is entered on this debit column. Ang mga credit na amount is enter nimo sa imuhang credit na column. So, mo ni ang imuhang general format sa imuhang general journal. So, let's try to journal. Mag-journaling ta. Journalizing. Mag-journalizing ta. So, okay. So we have, di ba, ato ang day, month is May, then the day is 1. Mr. W. Kayayan invested 100,000 to start an accounting office. Now, remember, nag-invest daw siya 100,000. O, ato to sa steps, unsa ang imuhang nadawat? Diba, nakadawat ka og 100,000. 100,000 is what? It is, or unsa nga transactions ang affected? So, the transactions affected are your cash, kay diba, kadawat kag 100,000. And what else? Your equity. Kaya diba ang owner kay ni investment siya. So investment, diba, is part na siya sa imuhang capital account. Ana sa imong capital account ibutang ang mga investment. So affected si cash, affected si capital account. Now, diba, unsa man ang nahitabo? Si cash nimo is ni increase. Diba, kay ni kadawat mga 100, so ni increase imuhang cash. Imong investment pod is ni increase. Now, si cash ni increase siya. Na kung mo increase gani ang cash, unsa ganitong buhaton, di ba? Cash nimo is an asset account. Now, to increase an asset account, kailangan nimo siya i-debit. So, meaning, ato ang cash, diri is ato siyang i-debit. So, we have debit of cash, and then ang amount is 100,000. Now, ang next nga account affected is our capital account. So, unsa man hitabo, atong capital account is ni increase pud siya. Kay di ba naamay ni invest, so ni increase ato ang capital account. So, meaning, capital account is an equity account. And then, to increase in an equity account, unsa man ang kailangan nimo buhaton? I-debit or i-credit? Diba? Unsa may normal balance sa imuhang equity account? Diba? Ang normal balance is mo man ang makapa-increase for that account. Now, the normal balance of your equity account is credit. So, meaning, to increase the capital account, kailangan nimo siya i-credit. So, therefore, is atuan ng capital account. Now, for the amount na 100,000. Now, always remember nga your debit side and your credit side should always be balanced. Again, your debit side and your credit side should always be balanced. So, dili pwede nga 100 imong gibutang diri o na diri kay 150. So, di ba dapat balance kina imuhang debit o credit kada journal entry. Now, the explanation is pwede ra badangan Mr. Kayayan's investment. So, muna siya ang imuhang explanation. So, again, as you can see, naka-indent ang imuhang credit, naka-indent po ang imuhang explanation. Now, let's move on to May 3. May 3, purchase office supplies worth 20,000 on account. So, again, purchase office supplies worth 20,000 on account. So, what accounts are affected? So, ang affected diha is your office supplies. And, since on account man siya, so meaning, nipalit daw ka through utang. So, unsa man affected? Your accounts payable. So, Let's start with your office supplies. So, what happened with your office supplies? Your office supplies is ni increase. Kaya di ba, nipalit yun kag office supplies. So, ni-increase imong office supplies. Now, if your office supplies increase, unsay imong buhaton? I-debit or i-credit? I-debit nimo. Kaya di ba, office supplies is an asset. Then, to increase an asset, kailangan nimo siya i-debit. So, meaning, ang imuhang i-entry din ha is office supplies. Next, what other account is affected? Ang other affected nga account is your accounts payable. Diba? Unsa may nahitabo sa imong accounts payable? Imong accounts payable kay ni increase. Kaya nga naman, dako man imong utang. Kay nangutang gud ka. So, di-increase ang imong utang. Di-increase imong accounts payable. Now, if your accounts payable increases, unsa imong buhaton? I-debit, i-credit. I-credit nimo. Kay di ba your accounts payable is a liability account. Unsay buhaton para ma-increase ang liability account, imuha siyang i-credit. So, meaning, your accounts payable is i-credit. Now, our explanation is purchase office supplies on account. So, ang amount is at 20,000. Oh, ano siya. So, anaon mo pag-analyze ang problem, ang entry or ang transaction. Imo pang i-analyze and then imo ang i-entry. So, for the explanation is, dili na ka necessary nga magbutang og amount sa imuhang explanation. Now, pwede din since mga general laman ni ang atoang mga transactions is pwede ra kan imuhar nang i-copy no. Like, ang thought pa gyud sa imuhang transaction. Now, if gi-specify pa diri kung kinsa ang imuhang giutangan, so pwede na nimo ibutang diri like purchase office supplies on account from supplier A. So pwede ingon ana if nasa kuan pod if ma-identify nimo sa imuhang transaction kung kinsa. So pwede ra nimo ibutang din ha. Now let's move on to May 5. So May 5, purchase additional supplies for cash. Now, kani is, again, nipalit ka og supplies. So, of course, i-increase sa nato itong office supplies. And then, unsa pa ang laing nahitabo? Nipalit ka og supplies for cash. So, unsay nahitabo sa imuhang cash? Imuhang cash is ni decrease siya. Now, since ni-decrease man ang imuhang cash, di ba? Unsaon man imo imuhang cash na account, i-debit, i-credit. I-credit nimo. So, ano nimo siya kay ni-decrease man imuhang cash, so imuha siyang i-credit. Di ba? So, anaon siya pag analyze, di ba? Credit siya kay tungod di ba yung normal balance is debit. Sa normal balance ka mo increase. So, ang opposite sa normal balance is maoy makapa-decrease sa kana nga type of account. So, since cash is an asset account, mo decrease siya sa credit. So, have here purchase office supplies. Ana. So, the amount is 10,000. 10,000. So, there you have it. Next, we have May 6 na transaction. Oops. May 6. Paid the accounts payable in full. So, asa man ka na ay accounts payable? So, di ba, ari sa imuhang May 3. Di ba, nakaiutan diri sa imuhang May 3. So, ato na yung butang ng space. So, unsa man ang imuhang affected nga transaction. So, you have your accounts payable and your cash. Kay nibayad gud ka. So, let's start with accounts payable. Unsa nahitabo sa imong accounts payable? Since imuha man gibayaran imong accounts payable, so ni decrease siya. Now, para mo decrease ang imong accounts payable, i-debit or i-credit. Imuha siyang i-debit, diba? So, accounts payable is debited. And then, since nibayad man ka, so meaning imuhang cash pud is ni decrease. So, paid accounts payable of May 3 in full. So, you have the amount of, asa man, walay amount ka nakabutang, pero, kabaw man ka nga, ang iyang gibayaran nga accounts payable is katong sa imuhang May 3. So, meaning, kung pila to imong amount sa imuhang May 3, mao po nang imong amount diri sa imuhang May 6. Kaya, of course, gibayaran gud niya in full. So, muna siya nga, 20,000. Extra, diriha is walay nakabutang nga amount. Pero kabaw ka nga ang iyahang gipasabot is kaning sa imuhang May 3. Kay mora man ang imuhang naiutang. So, pila man to imong utang ana pag May 3, mao po na imong gibayaran pag May 6. Now, let's move on to May 8. May 8. Move on to May 8. Purchase 2 units of computer with printer for 50,000. So, 30 days. Take note na ay term nga 30 days. So, unsa ning 30 days? 30 days is, mo na siyang imong tawag nga credit term. So, meaning, after pila daw ka days nimo bayaran or within pila ka days nimo bayaran ang imuhang gipalit. So, mo nang 30 days. So, meaning, kung naay gani ingon ani, kabaw ka nga kana siya is on account na siya or utang. Kay mo pa man siyang or na pa man kay credit period or credit time. So, pwede nimo siya bayaran within 30 days. So, ang affected is your accounts payable. Now, what else? Nipalit maka og computer. So, computer is an office equipment, di ba? Or ang nasa mo account title is office equipment man. Office equipment man ang nasa imong account title. So, meaning, mo ang imuhang gamiton. So, ni-increase ang imong office equipment, ni-increase po ang imuhang accounts payable. Okay? Nakaiutang, di ba? Purchase computer on account. So, by the amount of 50,000. So, next, we have May 10. Let's forget. May 10, rendered accounting services for cash. So, meaning, nibuhat na ka sa imuhang service. Nakay-render nga service. And once kung nakay-render nga service, of course, is considered na siya as your income. Diba? Income. So, ang affected nimo is your service revenue, which is an income account, and your cash. So, unsa nahitabo? Nakadawat daw ka og cash sa pag-render nimo og service. So, ni-increase ang imuhang cash, ni-increase po ang imuhang revenue. So, to increase your cash, imuha siyang i-debit. So, debit your cash. And then, for your revenue is para mo increase ang imuhang revenue. Diba? Revenue is an income account. Unsay normal balance sa imuhang income account? Normal balance is credit. So, again, anong normal balance? Ako ang pangutana. Normal balance because increase man ang iyang effect. Mo increase man ang imuhang account. So, kung mo-increase ang imong account, ang imong hinumduman is ang iyahang normal balance. So, para mo-increase imong service revenue, imuha siyang i-credit. So, ana siya. Service revenue, and then rendered services. So, amount is 25,000. Oops. So, we have May 10,